Hey, Chaney, how are you? Hey, Jack. You guys hear me okay? I'm moving the microphone. Let me turn this down. Oh, so it's Shanny, not Channy. So is your full name Chantel? Is that what your name actually is, or it's warm in here? Yeah, it makes more sense now. I'll try and keep that in mind. Forgive me if I forget that, because I probably will. Chantel. I still keep getting Jared's name wrong from Pelt Friction. I still want to call him Garrett, because his name is spelled with a G. Yeah, move this phone over here so I'm not looking down the whole time. What do you guys want to talk about today? Got about, I don't know, 45 minutes or so. I can imagine. With a last name like mine, I understand completely. I spilled my water bottle all over my bed, and I got to dry all my sheets now. It says we have three in here, but I only see two of you. Oh, my preferred feeders for anything really is Red Runner, which is, I just think you get a better response out of them, and there's, the varied sizes. I'm not a huge fan of Red Runners. You kind of have to learn, what tarantulas that you have and what they're capable of taking down too, because a lot of tarantulas will be able to take down something a little bit bigger than them. Even though people say that you shouldn't feed anything more than what their carapace size is, I never really go by that. So you guys have anything interesting that you guys are getting soon? I got a whole bunch of stuff coming next week. Where's all my UK friends? I figured if I did it this time that my UK friends would be able to get in. Oh, my bed is soaked. I'm so mad. Is this? This is my water bottle. Darth Vader, of course. I'm doing this. Hey, how you doing, Lars? And I put the water. You have any idea where to get them from, Jack? I mean, What are you looking to get? Aerial, terrestrial? How many? Axolotl. I'll do a video on my other pets, so I'll go in Haley's room and show that guy. Yeah, I definitely get him from Pelt Friction. There's a couple other people that I get stuff from, like Austin Spears, but he gets basically the same stuff that Pelt does. I think they actually go through things together. If you're gonna get an arboreal, because they have these available, look at the Avicularia variegata. They're really cool, or the Marinade. I think those are pretty cool. And you always have the Carabiner versicolor too. They're looking for they're looking to breed Minitreks, so they won't have any. But definitely look up the Variegata and the Marinade. I have two of the Marinades. Um, they're pretty cool. They may get a little browner than normal Avix, but I like that, so it's not that big of a deal to me. But I'm trying to think of what they have. It would be good for someone just getting their first ones. They don't have any Gramastola Pulchra peas. I'd look at the Pulchra. Jack, you could always email me too, and then I can send you a handful of species to consider. Hey, tarantula time. My favorite New World arboreal, it's Semmelpaeus pulchra. It always will be. I like the Semmelpaeus victori, probably second. And then if I could ever get my hands on a Semmelpaeus species Elquitron, that would be definitely right up there with those two. That one's black, so I like the black tarantulas. I like the black tarantulas and the blonde tarantulas and the orange tarantulas. If there was a bunch of gray tarantulas, I would love those too. Yeah, I think well, mine's a female, so they don't know that I really want to get another one, um, because Palp has some. So we're hoping that when my female grows up, then they'll be able to send me a male to breed. That'll be kind of cool. So congratulations for getting your second one. That's the prices have come down. And Adam Erickson bred them, and I think he's selling them for really really cheap. I would honestly, out of all those, just because Jack, just I mean GBBs, you can't go wrong, and I know they have them. Um, I think all their Faunopelmas are going to be kind of small, which will take forever to grow. But if I had to pick one, um, I can't remember which ones they have. I know they have the bicoloratum, I think, but they're a little pricey. And there's that Brachypelma bicoloratum. I can't remember now. I think it's Faunopelma. But so look at the hen size. I like the hen size. They're pretty calm, and they're generally a great United States um, Faunopelma. Between the Bamey and the Vagans, um, it depends on what a Faunopelma you get, but I would go with the Vagans because they grow quicker, and their hair isn't nowhere near as bad as the Bamies. The Bamies are pretty, they're that bright red, and there's a lot of red of them. Like the female I have up there, but yeah, that's where Adam Erickson he just posted them the other day for $50. It's nice when you get some private people that breed things and then they can sell them for a cheaper price like that. Yeah, I don't have any more left. I sent my female off to a friend, the Hensai. I have the Calcotes, the two. I don't know what the smaller one is, but the larger one's a female. Oh, that would have been a good one, Lars. The E species reds now, the Homoioma chilensis. Oh yeah, I'm gonna say Channy again. See, I already screwed it up. Channy. Well, that's cool. At least you're getting the things that you want, and in multiples. How you doing, Arachnid King? Like I was telling everybody else, I got roughly, well, probably till I don't know, a little after 4 p.m. here. So I thought I'd do, a live stream. My wife's at physical therapy for her ankle, and I got a bedroom to clean, so I was pulling everything out from underneath the table, and I was like, hey, let's just do this. Oh, Ben's doing one too, huh? Seems like everyone's doing a lot of them now, and I think I was on the other day when Lucy was on. Lucy, Eight-Legged Critters, I think her name is, right? Or Lucy's Little Critters, I think her name. Yeah, Lucy's Little Critters. critters. I like Ben. He's inverted Ben. He's got a good channel. You guys looking forward to the Fatal Fangs this weekend? Yeah, I said that too, Shanny. Right around 70 was my ideal number, and I'm like at 124 right now with, a whole bunch of stuff coming next week. I know there's at least 7 that I know of what they are, and I don't know how many other things Phelps can send. I think 2 that I'm really, really looking forward to because it's another locale, the Terranachilus marinus, that I don't have. I think it's actually the last one of the Terranachilus marinus locales that are out there in the hobby, at least here in the States anyway. I got to remember how to do the conversion from your euros to, that's what you're saying, right? The L is euros to our US dollars, because I'm assuming that 135 your price would probably be probably about 180 our price, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, I've never really had much interest in Theraphosa. And if I mean, I like the Apophysis because I think that they're a little bit more unique than the other two. The problem I have with them is that I always saw pictures of old beat up, females that came in on imports that were just ragged and, just they look old and beat up like they went through a war. But now we have some captive bred ones here in the States, and if I'm going to get one, I want to go the big way. I want to get the Blondie. I mean, I just don't know that I want to deal with the size. Again, I'm trying to cut back on my South American stuff. I'll probably get rid of all my Lasiadoras, and I'm going to keep my 2 Acanthoscurias and my Nandus, but most of the other South American or terrestrials I'm probably going to be looking at moving out so I can have more room for the African stuff. I mean, if somebody, I don't think that I'll buy one. I don't think that I'd actually go out and buy one, Shanny. If someone, offered it to me for a trade or something else like that, then I probably would consider it. That's what I'm worried about is the size. I mean, I have my LP, and she's, I don't know, probably 5.5 inches in a 10-gallon right now, and although I think she could stay in a 10-gallon for pretty much most of her life, you would almost think you'd want to go a little bit bigger. How you doing, Zena? Yeah, I don't know, because I don't have a ton of room for big totes. That'd be the way to go. Once we get out of this place and get someplace else, then I have more room to store stuff. I'd have more room in here if I just had a single bed instead of the queen size bed, but yeah, I saw, oh goodness, who did live today? Kat did live, right? Kat did a live stream Q&A earlier. Yeah, I'm hoping mine's going to be a small female. Again, I don't know that I'm going to keep them, because I have other interests, and when you have limited room and you have interests like, I really want to deal with more African species, the Terranachilus, Harpactira, and the Ceratojaris species, or genus, genera in particular, so. Yeah, I watched like the first little bit of it on a replay, but I was doing it while I was on downtime at work, so I didn't really get to catch the whole thing. No, I don't have a P. Solaris. I don't ever want to spend that money. And to be honest with you, P. Solaris is, or Solaris, I guess they're called, not Solaris, Solaris. They're pretty and all, but you just buy a Megaphoboma robustum and you have basically the same spider for a tenth of the cost. Yeah, I'd love to have my own pet room. That would be kind of cool. My wife would never go for it. She doesn't even like them in here, but I'd like to have like a house with a basement. And I can, do a room in the basement with controlled heat and set up a desk in there and do all my filming and all my rehousing. Then I wouldn't have such a problem doing rehousings on film. Hey, Gandalf. I did have a P. Antonaeus, the CF, it'd be the Pamphobedia CF Antonaeus, but it didn't make it through its last molt. I've tried two of them so far, and both of them have had the same result. So I'm assuming it's something here that I don't know if it's temperatures or what that it just can't deal with. Same thing with the Pseudoclamaris gigas. I just can't get them to live. I used to be a staunch advocate for changing out the screen lids, but my LP, my Homori, my GBB, my Albiceps, both of my um, female Semmelpes pulchers, the Encyrcatella olivacea, and my Pisotheris fusca all still have the screen lids, and never had problems with them. I've only seen one spider on the lids, and that was the Albiceps in the beginning. She was crawling across there, but once she got comfortable, I haven't seen them crawl. I'm not saying that they don't, but I haven't seen any of those spiders crawl up on the screen lid. I kind of worry about coming home one day and seeing a hole shoot through them. That would be my worry. Tom Moran, I don't know if he's got two or one, but I know he does have them, and he's the only one in the States that I know personally that does the Pamphobeteus arana polita. Is that what it's called? Polita? Anna polita or arana polito? I like saying, well, I can't say it, but I like hearing people say it. Yeah, no, I don't have one. It's one of those spiders that, if I want a big, if I'm gonna get another spider that's gonna be big, it'll be another Pamphobeteus antonaeus, and it'll be a juvenile state. So we go through there. I think we're having some technical difficulties here. Well, that's a big electrical family there, Shani. My dad was too. He kind of talked me into doing it. I really wished I didn't. I was working at General Electric here in Erie when I was 19 years old, and with the way that things have gone there, I could have probably retired already and had a pension and then go to work someplace else. Yeah, I like the 8x8s. I have one of the 8x8x8s, and that's the Encyrcatella olivacea's in that one. And he's a male, which will probably mature in his next molt, and he'll go off the pelfriction from here. Um, and I also have one of the bugariums, the Zoomed bugariums. That's what I have one of my Semmelpes pulchers in. The 12 by 12 by 12s I have two, and the Brachypelma albiceps is in one, and the Chromatopelma cyneopubescens is in the other. Oh, was the accident doing electrical work, Shanny? I know some of the things that you guys do up there for electricity and your coding is a little bit different than down here, but yeah, you got to worry about them fangs with the big ones. I mean, I saw just my LP's fangs are big enough, and she's not even full grown yet. Yeah, that's not fun. I've been shocked a few times, and in fact, it was just a few weeks ago because something we were troubleshooting something, and I was working on something that should have been dead, There shouldn't have been any power going through it. And when they moved part of the machine, what happened is the power was backfed, so I got 277 volts straight through from hand to hand. It was quick, so because when they moved the part of the machine back, it killed the voltage, but it should never have backfed like that, and there was a short in one of the wires. Yeah, that's not a lot of fun. I mean, if you really get hit hard, you can lose a limb pretty easy. There's only six. I was hoping to have about 10 or 12 of you guys in here before I announce this, but I'll do it now because. So I'm going to do an experiment, and this is, I don't know. I don't know how much flack I'm going to catch for this experiment, but yeah, probably. That probably would have been different. I don't really know which one's larger. I mean, the blondie is larger mass-wise, but I think the Sturmey's a little bit bigger overall as far as leg length is concerned. So it all depends on what you call larger. If you're considering, bulk of the tarantula or the actual length. And I think actually the apophysis is actually a tad bit, slightly larger than both of them because they're really leggy. They're not as bulky of a tarantula, but a little leggy. Yeah, so the it's not really that bad, but so I'm getting four OBTs in from Pelt Friction, and it's just for an experiment. And what I'm going to do over the course of 1 year's time is each different one's going to only be fed a certain feeder. So we're going to use crickets for one, red runners for one, dubia for one, and then mealworms for one. And we're going to see how the growth pattern works for them. Of course, we're going to have some issues with males versus females that can play a factor in it, but I want to see because we always say you should have a varied diet for your tarantulas, and I'm trying to figure out why. If I feed carrots and oranges and whatever to my crickets versus feeding them to the roaches, how much of a big difference is that? So that's the experiment that I'm going to do, at least for a year. I may even try to do 2 years and see how it goes. Yeah, Melvin, somebody else said that. I think I can't remember who else told me that. Inverted Ben is live too. I'm not going to be live very long. Um, my wife is at physical therapy. She started at 3:30, so I would imagine she would be home around 4:35. But now that I spilled water all over my bed, I got to strip the sheets and everything and put them in the dryer. I might as well wash them now that they're all wet. Yeah, I think so, Zena. I think it's going to be kind of a cool because they'll get fed the same day every single time, and then I'll be documenting like which ones feed and which ones don't, and growth patterns, and I'm gonna try and document. I have a thermal imaging gun, so I'm gonna try and document the temperatures every time I feed. I'm not worried about humidity because I never worry about humidity. Here in Erie, we generally have high humidity. Even in the winter, we'll have it's probably 35 or 40% humidity in my room right now. But trying to just putting all that into a paper and see if I can get it published would be kind of cool. Yeah, they will eat earthworms. One of the best species to feed mealworms to is Faunopelma simani. My female simani that I had loved them, loved night crawlers. No, the calcium thing's a myth, but feeding them, the big thing with feeding them rodents is the mess that they leave, and it takes them a couple days or even a day and a half to get through it, and then it's going to smell really bad. Um, how you doing, Ian? So yeah, no, I don't. I've never fed a vertebrate, and I never will. I just don't think it's necessary. They may do it in the in the they may eat them in the wild. If it comes along, they're gonna eat whatever they can overpower. But and a lot of breeders will feed maybe a worm, or not a worm, but a small rodent after a pairing or after a female molts. Um, or after she lays an egg sac. Sometimes you'll do that just to get them up there. Now my grandfather we used to have a worm farm, so we always had worms when we went fishing. It was just a styrofoam box with wet paper towel on top, and then he would just throw in like watermelon rinds or whatever, coffee grounds. They love that stuff, and then some kind of powder stuff that you would put on the dirt to give them whatever they needed. But yeah, we were never without worms. So we'd go catch night crawlers now and then because he kind of just bred the red worms. Yeah, you could do it that way too. Well, spiders can eat whatever they can overpower. There's no doubt about it. And it happens in nature. People don't like to see it on the internet. When you throw a live mouse or something in an enclosure and watch a tarantula attack it. And I'm too much of a softie to do that to animals. And my daughter's got rats too, so I kind of feel bad. But yeah, crickets and roaches. I'm not a huge fan of crickets either. I, I mean, they're good feeders. But if you've ever watched some of the videos that you don't see that I do are ones of feeding crickets, because I'll put the cricket in there, and just when the spider's starting to come out, the damn cricket will jump out every time. So then I gotta spend time pulling legs off, and I hate doing that. I don't know, it bugs me for a problem. I've never been bitten by a mouse. Well, I mean the rats nibble on you every now and then, but they're not really biting. Yeah, pre-kill definitely. I mean, if things go right, I'm getting a ball python from Trey Beck, but I have to reduce my spiders here first to create some room. That was kind of the agreement. So yeah, that one's already on pre-killed, so I'm not really have to worry about feeding things live. I just couldn't do it. I mean, snakes got to eat, and back then you didn't really have frozen thawed. Everybody just threw the rat in there or whatever. My brother had a big python before. I don't remember what kind it was, but his python got lacerated by a rat that it grabbed and started to squeeze, and the rat didn't get it right. The rat could turn its head, and it bit into the snake, and it had a nice laceration there that he had to go have antibiotics, I guess, to take care of it, so the rat didn't, or the snake didn't get an infection. Oh, I hate fruit flies too. I have to get some though, because I think my little assassin bugs, they have yet to take anything down. So I'm gonna try the little red runner nymphs today, because I got some really small ones that just hatched. So I'm gonna try throwing those in with the little baby assassin bugs. Yeah, I heard that you can't use live food unless your snake won't eat frozen thawed, right, Ian? Yeah, I think frozen thawed's the best way to go. As long as you can get your reptile to eat them. But there are going to be some that just won't. So yeah, the OBTs are all going to get set up exactly the same. Um, their enclosures will be a way that they can climb if they want to and have dirt to dig in. So everything's going to be the exact same when I do this experiment, so that there's no variable differences. It's just going to be the feeder differences, and we'll see how that works out. Kind of looking forward to it. I was waiting because I think my female OBT is starting to get bigger. I'm wondering if she's starting to produce eggs now, but I would think by now she would have, because African species usually lay pretty quickly after breeding, and it's been a few months, so I'm not really quite sure. Yeah, I think a lot of the spiders will. They'll eat frozen thawed anything. Hey Al, how you doing? Yeah, I stopped to get little crickets today. Ended up with a piece of Malaysian driftwood and another bag of jungle, the Zumed, right? Zumed? Zilla, the jungle mix. I love that stuff. I don't know if any of you guys use it. Any of you guys use that jungle mix from Zilla? Anyway, they didn't have crickets. I need to feed the little sling, so they're going to end up with red runner babies instead. It's funny because I'm live, I can hear myself, but then on this screen here, it's like a delay. It's really, really funny looking at myself do the movements that I already just did. Nope, I don't have Zenithus. I never had any interest in them. I mean, in all honesty, if I could have a collection of 5-inch spiders, every single one of them at 5 inches, I mean, the Marinas will, the Pteranophelus Marinas will touch 6 inches sometimes, but if all of them would be 5 inches, I'd be perfectly content with that. I believe they get that big, the Zenithus. And I think some of the Pamphibedius will get that big too. I mean, the Antonaeus has got to push 9 inches easy. And we don't even know if the Antonaeus is actually a Pamphibedius. Isn't that kind of funny? Or, well, I think it is Pamphibedius. We just don't think it's an Antonaeus, because it's actually Pamphibedius CF Antonaeus, which means that's the best that they could compare it to as far as the type specimens that were probably destroyed before. Um, to be honest with you, I believe they are Arachnid King. I think they are just a touch bigger, but not a ton. I mean, a Bihomori can still get 6 inches. I think there's even been some that have touched 6.5, even 7 inches. So I don't know how much bigger an Anitha would, or ex-Anitha would get. But I'm not really even quite sure. A lot of times you could put the two spiders side by side. If you don't know what you're looking for, you don't even realize they're two different spiders. That's been the problem in the hobby the whole time, and it's still the problem now, that because people still think that, when the revision was done, that they took B. Smithy and made it a B. Hamori, and it's not true. Now, the way that the revision was done and the way it was read by people in the beginning, and myself included, led me to believe that they just shifted them over, and it's not that way. So a lot of people don't know what they have. They say, oh, well, I used to have B. Smithy, but now it's B. Mori, but you really don't know. You know, there's characteristics between the two of them, and if you can know what those characteristics are side by side, you'll be able to figure it out. A lot of times in pictures on, Facebook or wherever, it's kind of hard to differentiate between the two. Now, my female is probably, oh, I never really seen her all stretched out, but she's probably a good 6 inches completely stretched out. Yeah, that's because people don't like change. It's sad. I mean, we went through on Facebook tarantula YouTubers that didn't want to accept it, and they just kept calling it the other way. And then you still have tarantula YouTubers that still want to say, oh, my B Smithy or my B Hamori it used to be a B Smithy, and that's really not right. I mean, I did a video on it before. I probably need to revisit that because I have a lot more information. Some of the stuff that I put in that last video, as far as um, characteristics, looking at them. There's a fellow from UK. I don't know what his name is, but he did a video not too long ago on the B Smithy and the B Hamori, and he was telling everybody how it is with the carapace color and stuff like that. He was completely wrong. There were things in his video that were right, but some of the stuff that he said was so far out of left field, and he acted like he knew everything, and I was pretty disappointed with the video actually. Yeah, there's like a black streak on the knees for Hamori where you don't see that with Smithy, and the brightness and the color and the color fading. So with Smithy, I got to remember how this goes now. With Smithy, you're going to bleed the red into orange, and on Hamori, you're going to bleed the orange or the red into white, or a lighter orange. Oh, I think so. I think the Iharengi is um, one of the largest Grammostola. Okay, we're back. You may lose me here or there, so I hope that I don't go away too long. For some reason, it just stops and then reconnects. I think if you had both of them in front of you, you would be able to tell the difference. But someone just putting one in front of you right now, you just look at them as red knees, and you're not. It's really hard. If you look at the Chelicerae pictures, are really easy to do. If you look at a front view blown up of the B Hamori versus a B Smithy, the Chelicerae on a B Smithy are pretty much intact and all black, where the B Hamori have a what we call cheliceral band. So there's a band that goes down the front or outside part of the Chelicerae, so it's kind of a grayish. So that's another easy way to kind of differentiate between the two. Yeah, I wonder that, Al. The thing that I wonder is because so many people have had problems breeding um, what we knew as Smithy, because up to 2 years ago, everything was Smithy. And a lot of people were putting them together and they wouldn't breed. And I really honestly believe that the Hamori and the Smithy won't breed together. They are separated by a natural a barrier. So the Balsas River runs right between them. So you have the Smithy, which would be on the south side, more of the Pacific coast of Mexico there, and then the Hamorii are on the northern part of that Balsas River. So how they would get across there to crossbreed in wild, I don't think it would happen. I'm sure it's been attempted, or not even known that it was attempted. Maybe it's been successful, but I know a lot of people that tried breeding them have had problems, and I almost wonder if they have a male Smithy and a female Hamori, and that may be the problem. I think it's a little bit like the Baumgarteni and the Bamey too. I mean, the Baumgarteni is a little bit more orange than the Bamey is, but they resemble each other really, really closely. And I think the big thing that people have to understand is get away from carapace coloring, the darker or the lighter, or how much is there, because as they age, that their carapace can have many different patternings on it. Like one of the Hamoris I have is like half the carapace is dark and the other half is lighter. So when anybody goes to you and says, oh, you can tell by the carapace, you tell them that they're wrong. Yeah, I did a lot of reading on the two, and I mean, you know how it is with a genus. Uh, male and male and female sexual organs are like a lock and key. So the key's got to go into the lock, or else it's not going to unlock what needs to be unlocked. I'm not saying that a male can't penetrate, but that doesn't mean that when he inserts his pedipalps, it's going actually into where it needs to go into in there. So What's my favorite brachypelma? The Amelia. Yeah, no, he didn't like being corrected. I had posted something on there and I showed him a few things and he deleted the whole entire comment. So people like that, when they get on a complex and they feel they're right, so they don't want people telling them they're wrong. And the easiest way to eliminate that is just to delete the comments. No, the Smithy, Al, the Smithy is going to be pretty much consistent black on the Chelecerate. Yeah, there are a lot of egos. I mean, I see it more and more as channels start to get more popular and more subscribers. You get, I don't know, some people get stardom, and it's just funny because this is YouTube. It's not like you're signed to a contract to make 10 movies for Marvel or something. It's just YouTube. You got your big channels that, like PewDiePie, I guess, whatever he is, with 80 million subscribers. That's one thing, but I have a smaller one. It's actually growing really, really quickly. I say I just do this for this, for fun and then to educate people. Really, I'm not looking to make money off of it. If I made a few $100s a year to help buy some enclosures or something, I'd be perfectly happy with that. Oh yeah, there are brachypelmas I don't have. I don't have a verdezi. Um, my sabulosum's a male, so he'll be going away, or I don't know how long he'll live, but I haven't found anybody to take him yet. Verdezi's the big one that I know for sure I don't have, and then the epicanarum, right? I think that's how it's pronounced. I don't have one of those. Um, I'm sure there's more that are out there that are in the hobby I don't have. What are you getting? Which one, Ian? Yeah, Jack, I don't really mind the trolls to be honest with you because they're very easy to spot. I've been being an admin of the Facebook groups for as long as I have. It's really easy to spot them. I actually kind of have fun with them on the channel. So when they post something, I've had a few of them back down just because I didn't really feed into what they thought they were going to get out of me. I do have a short dairy. It's a young male. I would say not really penultimate. He's probably a year or so away from being penultimate, so he's got a couple years to go before he matures. But he's a crazy little guy, to be honest with you. They're supposed to be like little labs, little puppies. They're real shy, but this one here is kind of he's threat posed me on more than one occasion. And no, actually, I've never heard of either one of those names. To be honest with you, it's kind of funny. I don't really I don't really pay attention to people that are breed. I pay more attention to the people like the taxonomists and the entomologists and the arachnologists like Stuart Longhorn and Andrew Smith and guys like that. Volker Van Werth. I try to keep up on stuff that they're doing because I learn that way. I'm not really worried about who breeds spiders, who doesn't. Oh, on the short dairy, yeah, that's kind of cool that mine came up on top. I'll do another one. We'll do a species spotlight on him. I'm not sure if he's in Primo or not. He looked kind of dark in the back end when I saw him yesterday, but yeah, rare's not always the best though, Al. I mean, it's fun to have stuff that other people don't have, but he's not. He's not coming back. Rob, see, he's not coming back. he just sold all his stuff that he had left, gave away all his enclosures, and him and his wife moved to Nevada, out there in Vegas. Yes, that's kind of exactly what it is. Um, the female spermathecae is designed to accept the male emboli, so that kind of helps stop crossbreeding, but not completely, because with like brachypelma, a lot of their spermathecae is relatively close, so you could still have spiders crossbreed. No, there isn't, Ian. It's kind of surprising. They're not very popular, and they haven't been bred much. We had one successful breeding last year here in the States, so hopefully those slings will start being available here by mid-year. Yeah, Rob was a good guy. He made some dumb mistakes, but we all do. It was his personality that really made him big. I think he was out there and boisterous, and he really cared about his spiders. So yeah, he's definitely not coming back. Who's that, Shandy? Rob? Rob had different interests. I don't know exactly what made him stop. To be honest with you, I never asked him. I've only talked to him a few times, but I mean, it was almost like, one night he was there and the next night he wasn't. And there was a lot of controversial stuff going on with him and some other people, and some of the things that he did, he caught a lot of flack for. Like the Hysterocrates gigas swimming, by actually kind of just like coaxing it into the water. That's not really swimming. That's being forced into the water. But no, I mean, I enjoyed his stuff. That's, at the peak of his um, time on YouTube is kind of when I really, really got serious about this stuff. So I watched a lot of him and a lot of um, John 3800. Yeah, he did say in Cat's video he's coming back, but he's not. Said he gave Cat and her friend all the enclosures he had left. No, he's into something different out there, and he even sold his big Jeep. Um, he sold his Jeep and got a Shelby a Mustang, I think. So I'm not really sure what he's doing out there in Vegas, but no, you're never late. No, not much. We're just chatting. Probably have about, I don't know, maybe a half hour left. Yeah, I'm assuming that I don't know John personally. I've talked to him like 3 times. Um, I think I sent him a request last year to do a video together, but he's just too damn busy. I don't know if he's got. I'm assuming he's got a full-time teaching job now, and that's why he's cut back on the videos. But yeah, I don't have to worry about that anymore. I haven't had to worry about that for 16 and a half years. When we had the twins, I got taken care of. We didn't want to go through that again. Our first son, Alex, should have been a twin. He had 2 umbilical cords, so they said that the other twin must not develop right. He kind of just, we always say he ate his sibling, but so her my wife's dad was a twin. He had a twin sister. So when we got pregnant the second time, after the third month, 4th month, they said you have 2 in there. And once they were born, and I think we waited till they were about 18 months old, and then I got fixed because I didn't want her to have to go through all that. But I'm going to be 50, so it doesn't make a difference anymore. Yeah, that's some of it, but I mean, you got a lot over here. There's still a bunch over there, and that's just the small guys up there. There's 124, 123 tarantulas, and then the one Nemesede, right? Nemesede, the Canthoganathus frankie, not actually a tarantula. Yeah, I don't know that he ever actually he built a theater in his house, I think, but I don't think he ever actually got the animal room straight. I know he had plumbing issues, and I don't really know. You know, I mean, I don't know him personally. I wasn't there, so I don't know exactly what happened with everything he was doing. But he stopped doing it, and I mean, you saw the transformation that he had. He went from a a regular old guy that was a little overweight to a big huge um, basically weightlifter guy now. So his 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 time changed, and I mean, if you're going to do that kind of work for your body, there's no way you can do all this other stuff too. And we were supposed to have him here every month, um, and then they canceled the November show because a couple of the vendors couldn't make it. And then the December show that was supposed to be here got canceled after that because they didn't have enough vendors. And now we haven't heard anything more. The first two shows were very, very small, and I don't think that they got the people that they needed to pay for what they needed. It was, a bigger venue but a smaller room. I'll go to Buffalo in, would it be March, I believe, March or April, May. May. I'll go to Buffalo. Yeah, you guys. I like the way you guys have them because it's not as far travel for some of you guys. You guys can catch a train or whatever and go to them. We ours here just all over the place. Ones I'd like to go to would be like one out, as I'm looking because people are trying to look. Also, I don't like that. I'd rather just order stuff online and be done with it. Yeah, I think Tarantula Haven's gone to the Daytona Beach one a couple times, hasn't he, Melvin? If you watch him, he goes to the Jacksonville one, I think. No, I don't think he'll ever delete the channel just because he still gets enough views and from his old videos, he probably still makes a little bit of money off of it. So I don't I don't think he'll ever delete the channel. Um, that's a good question, Ian. Yes, I have very much so, and it started last year. Um, when I was an admin of the Tarantula Keepers group, I think there was like 15,000 people when I got there. When I left, there was 27,000 people when we started this new group this last February. Um, that's a big increase in 1 year, 12,000 people. Um, I do, I think Petco and Darren have definitely have an influence um, over the people that are getting. I see a lot of people saying that they got into it because of those two. They make it a lot of fun, and their filming is really good. So that kind of helps things. They're really good entertainers, and I mean I like watching. Well, I like watching Petco a little bit more than Darren, but I like watching both of them. I haven't watched Darren's videos in a while, but I do keep up on Petco's for the most part. But yeah, I would say, mm, I mean, just for reference, say that there was 10,000 people in the hobby of January 2017. There was 250,000 by the end of the year. It really, really exploded, especially here in the States. I think you guys over in the UK have always had a big invert following. So I'm not saying I don't know how much you guys grew over there, but we grew crazy over here. We were all there once, Northern Exotics. Hey, Nuno. Well, see, now you got 536. Oh, 532. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, just because that's the way I am. I'm not real fond of some of the stuff that Darren does like that. It's people like it, And I mean, I understand what he, why he does what he does, and he just has, he's got those huge water bowls and filling them up with the sound, and when a lot of his tarantulas are Asian, so they get kind of angry, and that brings viewers because it's drama basically. People want to see that stuff, but I don't know that I would be changing my water dishes that much. If there's still water in them, I don't see a necessity to change them. No, I don't think he ever would be. He's just a, he shows his stuff off and has fun. He's still a young kid too. I'm not sure how old he is, but probably early 20s. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's that'd be a good question to ask someone like maybe Alan Hinken, because he's been doing it for such a long time that maybe you could ask him about how the UK uh, tarantula keepers has grown over there and see what he says. Now, there's some channels that you're going to learn on, and some channels that you're not. And I think it's more channels you're not going to learn on than you are. That's kind of why I do what I do, because I don't think there's as many channels that give you, the information. I just spent the last 2 days writing down every single tarantula that I have, what if there is a common name for them, and where they are located, and then who first described them. So, like we'll say Peace Out There in Metallica was Pocock in 1905 or whatever it was, and you would actually be surprised at how long some of these species have been described, but not into the hobby. It's kind of cool to see. So I try to do stuff different here. No, I don't think Darren will be the next Steve Irwin. Darren does his stuff at his house. I mean, he's gone out in the wild here or there, but I don't know that he's more a conservationist. I would consider Steve Irwin a conservationist. That care for all animals, not just stuff. Yeah, he's definitely entertaining, and I think YouTube is supposed to be entertaining. I mean, even if you're informational, you still have to be a little entertaining, I guess, to keep people around. Oh, there's a ton of bad info out there, tons of it. And to be honest with you, the problem with YouTube is that everyone has a platform to sit here like I'm doing right now and say whatever they want, whether it's right or wrong, and you all people believe you. And the bigger that you get, the more people believe you, and then those people will defend you even though you're wrong. That's a hard thing to deal with. Yeah, the info is a lot easier to find, and I mean, I use Wikipedia for things like what I was doing, listing all the tarantulas, like who first described them. It's not bad to do stuff like that, but when most of your searches, when you're looking for information part of it, not the images, most of your searches, your first thing is always Wikipedia. And I don't know a lot about Wikipedia, but I know that I think anybody can go in there and change stuff. So I could add whatever I wanted to different, articles in Wikipedia and change however I want to change it. Yeah, I mean, Rob C was a very entertaining person. John 3800 did give some information, when he would do his like genus spotlights or stuff like that. You did get a little bit of that, but I think until Tom Moran came around, you really didn't get a lot of channels that were informational based. Yeah, that's a problem, Ian. Um, you get a lot of people that I'm not naming any names because I don't want to do that. But there are a lot of people that do what we do that think they know what they're saying, and then they go on YouTube and they say it and they're wrong. And when you do that, you have to have the fortitude to stand up and say, look, this last video that I did, I kind of messed up a little bit. I gave you some wrong information. Here's what I found out, or somebody corrected me. You don't see that a lot. What happens is you'll have people in the comment section that will say, hey, this is wrong, or you said this, or you didn't say that right, or whatever, and then they'll just delete it. And I just don't think that that's right, because it's not real. I mean, if I say something wrong on my videos and someone correct me and I find that information to be right, I'm going to say, hey, look, I found out I was wrong on this information. When I did the Brachypelma homori Smithy video that I did the first time, I was wrong, because I said Smithy is now homori, but I corrected that with a different video. Yeah, it's scary, to even think about. Let's just say, like, no, I don't even know. Let's talk about a wet molt or something like that. So, I'm sitting here, I'm giving you information about how a wet molt works, and I'm saying, well, a wet molt happens because there's not enough pressure to push the molting fluid between the old exoskeleton and the new exoskeleton. And then you have 10 or 15 people believe me. Then one person comes and say, well, that's not actually right. Generally, that's a leak in the fluid from the old exoskeleton to the new exoskeleton prior to when they're actually pumping that fluid in. So what happens is you'll get certain parts of the molt that doesn't molt right. So your tarantula will actually look wet, like it just went through a washing machine. But I don't know enough about stuff like that to do videos on. That's why I don't do videos on stuff that I don't know for sure. No, a lot of people don't fact check, that's for sure. They hear stuff from people and then they just believe it as truth. And, I mean, we see it in the Facebook groups all the time. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Darren and Petco both were, and even Tarantula Dan and Alan Hinken lately, those are the advocates. So those are your I say the top guys right now that have really, brought, I don't know, the popularity to Tarantula YouTube, that's for sure. But, originally it was Rob C. and John 3800 were the two big ones. And, there were some other channels that, filtered in here or there that did some, had some good followers and some good videos. But you go back and watch some of those older stuff and realize how much bad information that they give because they didn't have what we have today. I still watch Steve Irwin when I get an opportunity to hear if it's on a rerun or something. I love watching the new one, the Crikey, it's the Irwins, just to see how the kids have grown up. I'm really, really super impressed with Rob. Now, I mean, it's a TV show, but his son Robert, I can't imagine that he's different on the TV show than he is in real life. He's exactly like his dad is. It's kind of fun to watch because you're like going back to when, I wasn't a child when Steve Irwin first started. My kids were children, but yeah, we used to watch it all the time. My son loved it. Yeah, I watched a bunch of John too, and his feeding videos just got to be 3-parters, and it was so hard to see him because he had to use such small enclosures because he had so many, and he was using the 1-gallon mainstays, and some of the spiders were way too big for those things, and he couldn't get the lighting in there. It was just tough to watch some of them. But a lot of his stuff helped me out in the beginning. At least got me to the point where I wanted to research things more. Yeah, his sling care video is pretty good. A lot of his species videos are pretty spot on. You don't find Tom making many mistakes. He has, but not many. Mike Jacoby, his name is Mike Jacoby. He's I don't know what he actually is, but he did a lot of field work with Andrew Smith and those guys out in the field. I don't know if he's a doctor, or I don't think he's an arachnologist, but that's who Mike's Basic Care, or Mike Basic Tarantula stuff is. He's got a bunch of care sheets, yes, but the problem is that a lot of his stuff is copy and pasted. So you'll see, a tarantula that is only 4 inches, he'll copy and paste something there, and it say, my girl was a relaxed 6 inches, and it's supposed to be kept at this temperature, and that the stuff is wrong. So a lot of his information sheets are good to start with because you get an idea, but you really should go further than those care sheets. He's got a really good book, a beginners to tarantula book. I think it was done through Animal Planet. It's not a very thick book, but it's a really good book. A lot of it is old. Most of it's pretty good, but now there's a lot of glaring mistakes and a lot of copy and pasting. You can see if you read a lot of them. Yeah, I mean, people are going to make mistakes. We can't know everything, and you know, I mean, I've been told my hot and tata is great in the enclosure that's in, and someone else told me that that's a terrible setup for it. So I haven't figured it out. Yeah, it's amazing that they're that old already, isn't it? How you doing, Mark? Yeah, probably got about, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 minutes left. So for those of you that just came in, I'll re-talk about what I'm going to do a experiment. Hopefully, try and write a paper, just an experimental paper on OBTs, and it's going to be on feeding the OBTs. So I'm getting, hello Jennifer, I'm supposed to get 4 slings, the orange variety. I don't know if it's Usambara Mountains or because they have RCF, OCF. I don't like the color form names, but I'm getting 4 of them, and they're all going to be kept in the same type of enclosure, with basically the same setup. I mean, they may look a little bit different inside there, but um, what I'm doing is each one of them is going to only be fed one feeder for at least 1 year. So one will be fed crickets, one will be fed red runners, one will be fed dubia, and one will be fed nothing but mealworms and superworms, hornworms, waxworms, stuff like that. And I'm going to document the changes in them, their eating patterns, the growth rates, all that stuff with 4 OBT. So I'm not going to do it on YouTube because I'll probably get hammered for it, and I really don't want to deal with that. But I'll probably film things and then put them into a folder for later. See you later, Jack. Good that you stopped in. I'll do another chat probably, but not till next week when I get my package in from um, Pelt Friction. It's probably, I'll try and do a live unboxing, or at least have the box here and open it up in front of you, but I won't rehouse anything because they're all going to be really, really quick tarantulas. I think there's 4 OBTs, and then there's going to be 2, I think 2, I'm assuming 2 of the Pteronachilus marinus Mikumi locale. That's the last locale that I believe I need out of the Pteronachilus to have all the locales that are in the hobby right now. So, and then there's 2 Chilobrachy species and a new Cheeto is coming in. And then whatever else they send, I'm not really sure what else what's coming in. I never know with them. They like to surprise me. I mean, my Poecilotheria metallica, my Chilobrachy species electric blue, and my Selmopaeus victori, they send them to me with, just because. Yeah, I'm hoping it turns out. I mean, it'll be weekly documentation. Molting, how quickly they're molting. They'll all be kept in the same area, so the heat, and like I told everybody before, I got a heat gun, so I can document the heat right at the enclosure every time I feed, and when they're molting, or what the ambient temperature is also, around that. Reading that, and one of their journals, that would be kind of cool. Actually, I really can't wait till Fatal Fangs is done. I don't know who all's left in it. Ian, I think you're still left in it, aren't you? I can't wait till it's done. I mean, I want to stick through it and win all the way through as far as I can go, but I can't wait till it's done because I want to get back to normal filming. And it's like right now I have 4 clips saved for Fatal Fangs. The one that I sent in for this weekend is pretty good. It's probably better than the 2 that I've already put in. And then the one for next week, if I beat Victor this week, and I go on to next week, the next week's one's probably the best video that I've shot in probably a year. The clip is really cool because it starts out funny and then ends up really cool. I really enjoyed getting that footage. It's pretty cool. And then I have another another two clips that are probably, I think the three that I have left that won't be used until after this week are probably tournament winning clips. I think they are, especially next week. I almost want to hold it back, but you get to that point now where you have to use your best clip each week to win and move on. I'd be happy if I was just the last United States person left. I don't know how many of us there that are left, to be honest with you. Tennessee Tarantulas is left, myself, Pelt Friction. Who else is left? Ian, you're in the UK, right? Yeah, you're in the UK. I honestly I don't know who else left. There's how many of us? There's 16 matches yet, or is there 8 matches? So there would be 16 left. Does that sound right? Yeah, four from. No, it'll be 4 matches from each. I don't know. I don't know how many people are left. I know it's only supposed to be like 4 more weeks, but I want to just get back to normal filming, and I couldn't do it because I wanted to make sure I had clips stored. I can't get my C. lividus to come out and feed it. I have to drop stuff down in there. She just won't come out. I've seen her, but yeah, that would be kind of cool. If I could at least say I was the last U.S. person to get through. I mean, I'd like to just win my bracket, which is going to be tough because I still have Pelt Friction and Mark's Tarantula still in there, and Lucy, you can't sleep on her. 16 there's 16 matches left, right? So there's 32 people. So making it halfway through is pretty cool, but I'd really at least like to win my bracket. Yeah, that one ought to be interesting. Although I'm I mean, no offense to Mark, but I expect a little bit more out of his clips. I don't know. I didn't think his clips were up to normal Mark standard, but maybe he's saving some of his better stuff for the end. I mean, so if I beat Vic this week, then I have to go against Lucy next week. Then you have Stick and Mixes left in there, right? I don't know who his opponent would be. Yeah, I definitely want to get it over with. It's going to run all the way because you have 16 matches left. So next week you'll have 8 matches left, then 4, then 2, then 1. So you have at least 4 more weeks to go if you get through this one. Oh, yeah, okay. No, I honestly, Mark, I was actually pretty shocked at some of the clips that people put in. I mean, I know that people did the best they could, but looking at a few of them, I don't know that I would have just gave up if that's the best clip I could put out there. And another thing that I think I really don't think that you should be able to use a clip twice. I think you need to you should have to film a new one each week or each thing. I know some people are really busy, and I felt Pelt Friction's been so busy. Their first clip was reused from the second round, I believe. But yeah, I've seen I think Isaac used the same clip he did the first week, and I don't know how many tarantulas Isaac has, but I mean, me personally, in a tournament like this, I think that you should be giving it your all. And as a voter, if I said, "Hey, that was the same video you used last week," I'd be like, if you couldn't be bothered enough to make a new video, then I'm not going to vote for you this one. Although Pelps was pretty good, so I hope all the crap is done with. Though I don't think it's going to be. I think you're going to see a lot of crazy voting this next week too. Yeah, you know, I really wish they would have waited and done it after the holidays. They would have had more time. Everybody else would have had more time to film, and with everybody that went in the first round, that first week, they were the guinea pigs. You didn't know what you should do, and there was so many things that were tossed around, like, oh, you shouldn't talk, or you shouldn't play music, or you shouldn't have any text or anything, wording on there at all. It should just be the clip and be done with. So that's what I did. I didn't say anything in my video. I didn't have any sound on it, and I didn't put any text on there. Well, since then I changed that because I think I should be able to, or not myself, but everybody should be able to put what they want in there. Yeah, Andrew's going to have a Andrew and Leon are against each other this week too, so that one ought to be interesting. Yeah, I wished it was that simple, I wished it was, I mean, seriously, if I mean, not even if you yourself, did screwy stuff to get the voting. I would think if you, as a competitor, when you put your video out there and you see the other person's video, and you could say, well, his video is way better than mine, then, I mean, if you went forward, I'd be ashamed, really, to be honest with you. Yeah, Ian, what I do with mine anymore is, especially my feeding clips that you've seen so far this year, most of them, I just mute all the background noise with the mute button on the editor, and then I'll put music on there because I haven't had, like I said, I haven't had time to actually do a feeding video like I normally do, where I'm actually talking through them. Because those, I mean, my problem with that now is that I can get 7 or 8, 10 tarantulas fed and be a 27-minute video where I can do these, make these clips and edit them down and do, 20-second or 30-second clips of each one and add music to it or something. I'm going to do a voiceover on one soon. I'm going to try that because I haven't done that either. Yeah, I agree, Nuno. Some of them just, there was like no effort put in whatsoever. I haven't done a voiceover yet, so that's something I want to try. I was going to do an experimental, like four quick feedings and then do a voiceover clip. I couldn't do it the way that the app was before, but since they upgraded the app, they gave me that option there now. And one of the big things that a lot of people asked me was to put, the name of the tarantula up there on the clip, which it was so hard for me to do before, but now it's like so easy now that I've learned, different things, and the new phone really helped too. Yeah, I was worried. The only thing I'm worried about with voiceover is like I don't want to sound like I'm forcing it, you know, like I'm doing a play-by-play for a football game or something. Now, you know me, I have a hard time not talking much. I go off on tangents. So doing a voiceover, I may be talking about something in one clip that happened 2 clips ago. I don't know. I've had people, and this is the funny thing because my channel's been different, and it's been pretty bland. It was bland last year. I mean, it's gotten much better since this upgrade in the app, but I've had a lot of people that say, "Oh, we miss you talking," and then I have a lot of people saying, "Oh my God, I'm glad you're not talking anymore. We like the music better." So it's kind of, you can't please everybody, so you just kind of do a mixture of each. So I figured I would do more informational videos where I talk, and then use the feeding clips and stuff as either a voiceover or with music. Yeah, you can tell when I'm holding the camera, because of my myotonic dystrophy, how bad my hands will shake. I see it just trying to take pictures. It's really, really difficult. So if you see the camera real steady, it's because it's on the tripod. There's times when I can't use the tripod because, it's not tall enough for some enclosures, but yeah, I'm gonna get back into the country stuff again. Once this shipment comes in from Pelt, there's a couple that I've added that need to be updated on some of the countries, and then stuff that like Chile. I've been holding back on Chile because I sent two of my female Gramastolas to Allie at Pelt Friction, so I didn't really want to do. I was going to do the Chile video the other day, but I knew I was going to send them off, so I figured I want to wait till everything comes in from them this week, and then start doing the videos again. I try to do one every 2 weeks. So I got to get through South America because I really want to get to Africa. Although Africa is probably going to be the hardest. Maybe Asia might be the hardest, but trying to get footage of them out. I think South America would be cool, but I worry. I mean, going anywhere outside of the countries anymore is kind of risky. But I really, really would love to go to Africa. There's no way I'd ever do it unless you knock me out, like I said before, because I am deathly afraid of water, and flying over a ocean would just not be fun for me. They'd have to sedate me. Well, you know what? It's really gonna be. I think with those two, it's gonna be whose clip is gonna be better. I think that's gonna be one of the tighter matches this week. Andrew does some pretty good feeding clips, though. Yeah, that's the problem. I don't swim. I can't swim. I'd be shark bait within minutes. Probably not even minutes. So I'm gonna let the stream go for. Well, I've got 13 more minutes, which would be 5 o'clock my time, and then I gotta strip my sheets off my bed and wash them because I spilled all that water all over them. Now they're all wet. Unless my wife gets home in the meantime, then. I'm trying to organize all my stuff back into the bins where they belong, and keep this side of the room over here a little bit more organized. So I don't remember if I told. I think I did. I might have told you guys in the last video, but I'm getting a new Cheeto. So we're getting a new Orphnaceous Philippinus. And we're going to name it Cheez It. What are my goals in 2019? So, well, I want to do a few collab videos. I'd like to do a comedy video actually, sometime mid-year, sometime in the summertime when I can get out of here where it's not snow and cold outside. I actually wanted to do a tour video where I'm from, like special places that I went to when I grew up, and places here in Erie that have special meaning to me, like Presque Isle, and I'll show you when we get to that. But I started doing that last year. I never got through with it, but not really much more than what I do, to be honest with you. I just want to keep doing what I'm doing, and have people enjoy what I'm doing. I like to do a couple breedings, we'll have to see how things go. Oh, podcasts. Well, we have the one that I screwed up. We're gonna redo that one. But I'm gonna change it up a little bit, and we're gonna do like the tarantulas that everybody should have in their collection. Like the top 10 tarantulas everyone should have in their collection. Um, we wanted to talk about enclosure sizes, and what's too small, what's too big, if there is too big, if there is too small, stuff like that. I had a list of them. I don't know. I think the list is actually at work though, because I write all this stuff up at work. And I think it's in a notebook in my locker. So next time I do live videos, I'll have to put that out there. But I think the next one will be, the tarantulas that should be in everybody's collection. So I'm not going to give it away. I don't even. You'll hear it when you hear it. My favorite tarantula YouTuber. That depends on what I'm watching, to be honest with you. I mean, everyone gets asked this question, and everybody has different answers. But um, I mean, because I'm the way I am, I would say Tom Moran would be my favorite tarantula YouTuber. I do really enjoy a lot of people that a lot. Here we are reconnecting again. Victus Prey online. I love watching his stuff because he's real, and the spiders. That's what I want out of a YouTuber. Me personally, um, if you're gonna want me, if you want me to subscribe to your channel, it's got to be about spiders. It can't be about you. I don't want to see you on film, 5 minutes explaining this or that's where Petco and Darren and Kat and those ones they do well with that because they're relatable and their fan base relates to that. That's just not my cup of tea. I want to see the spiders. I want to learn about spiders. I mean, I looked up yesterday. I went because I have a Chelobrachys species, Pracupierican coming in, and I don't know a ton about them. I mean, Chelobrachys are Chelobrachys, but I I looked up some up on video yesterday just to watch, and got to watch them, and I believe Tom Moran was one of them that I watched. It has. Oh no, I watched that Wanzanensis because I have one of those coming in too. Um, so yeah, if you're going to get me to subscribe to your channel, I want to see. I mean, I want to see you. I want to see the real you. I want to hear the real you. I don't want to hear, what you think I want to hear. You know, I don't. I hate when people try to change themselves to have people like them. That's just me. I think I missed a couple questions here. What did I miss? Oh yeah, I enjoyed doing the last podcast. That was kind of fun. I like them because I don't, I'm not on film. I can talk how I want, and if I need to pause it, I can pause it and walk away. It's not that big of a deal. I think it took me about an hour and 40 minutes to do that one. I was constantly getting water. I had a cold too that I was getting over. Yeah, I mean, I would die if my wife would support the hobby like Tom's wife does. Would I get a Brazilian wandering spider? I would if it was just me. If it wasn't my kids or my grandkids that would have I mean, my grandkids come here, so I have to be careful with stuff like that. I want to get a black widow, but my wife, she kind of put the foot down on that one. I mean, I kind of have to, listen to her because she tolerates this. I don't want to just bring something in just because, and I need her to be on my side a little bit. Yeah, that's what I try to do, Mark. I mean, I try to be. I mean, I can be funny. There's no doubt. I've done some funny things on video. I've said some funny things, but I know a lot of people like when I talk to my spiders. A lot of people say that they get a kick out of that. So I try to do that. Yeah, I think you're right, Melvin. I think people will like being entertained, and we're a very simple creature. So when we're entertained, we're content, and we don't really think about what we're being entertained with. Um, but not many people come to this platform here to learn. They want to see videos on stuff, or they want to, see what the tarantula that they have is going to look like. But not a lot of people are going to come and say, well, I want to go and, I'm going to go to YouTube and learn all about the Brachypelma albopilosum, which, by the way, is like one of my most, that species spotlight on the Brachypelma albopilosum is one of my most popular videos. So most people are just going to go on the internet and do that stuff, where they can do it when they want to or how they want to. People get on TV, they want to be entertained. That's what TV's for. So I could see why channels like, Dark Dan and Exotic Slayer and some of the other ones like those channels are real popular. Being relatable is, I think, huge. I think people relate to, and you know what the big thing with Darren and Petco is they're foreign, especially to because the United States. I think I'm not saying the United States is the most popular people on YouTube, but you're gonna have a lot of people from the United States, and they really, really take to that, different type of dialect and their accents and the way that they do things over there. And I mean, look how far Petco's come from his little tiny area there on his coffee table to a whole entire room. That's not even in his house. I mean, they've done well for themselves. There's no doubt about it. Now, I don't think there's a problem with you popping in here and there. And I told Andrew, I think that he needs to do more intros and outros because he's a very relatable person that does good quality filming, and has information to give. He's got a lot of rare tarantulas, and a lot of tarantulas people don't get an opportunity to see. So his channel's got that draw where a lot of channels don't. My problem is some of my rarer tarantulas, I can't see them. I don't ever see them. I thought about doing some, just spider stuff here, pulling the camera down and feeding my slings. That was my original idea. But when I left work today, was stop to get those little small crickets because I had to go get some more jungle mix anyway, even though I still had half the bag I didn't realize I have. And then have the slings here and just kind of feed them as we were going, but you really wouldn't really see much. No, I haven't seen Mingo 1980, so I'll have to check it out. I think, being cinematic is, again, it's entertaining, so people like that. It's almost like you're at a movie theater with, like I said, Mark's Tarantula's done some of those that were very, very cinematic. Probably, other people that we generally generalize with or hang out with, I guess, online, the YouTube people, Mark's probably the most cinematic out of everybody. And Ian, you can tell. I mean, quite honestly, I'm going to be 50 years old, and I've dealt with people all my life. And again, just this whole learning people as an admin of these tarantula groups, when you're dealing with thousands upon thousands of people, you really get a feel of how people are, and you get a feel of people that need to feel important, however that may be, and why that may be. I really can't tell you whether it was a childhood issue or there's a marriage issue or whatever it may be. They want to be noticed and feel good, and the popularity is important to them. And when people like them, they feel better about themselves. Even though I think, those are the people that really, really feel bad about themselves and need other people to fill that hole. And it's sad at sometimes, but I feel bad for people that seek that out. And a lot of people that seek it out, they won't admit that they're seeking it out, but it's kind of easy to tell sometimes. Yeah, absolutely. No, there. I've watched a couple of the German videos just because they were the only ones that had videos on certain spiders that I wanted to see, and very, very interesting videos. But of course, I didn't understand what they were saying. Hello, Lori. You're getting in right towards the end. Yeah, I mean that's true in anything. I think, Melvin. I think you have to like yourself before anybody else can like you. And if you don't, then the way people like you is going to be fake. And what people do is they'll pretend to like you for your benefit, but really not like you. There's people that don't like me. There's lots of people that don't like me in the tarantula community. There's more than I'd probably like, but how long have I been keeping? Well, um, the in a mass amount, 4.5 years. Prior to that, I had one for 11 years. So yeah, you're talking 15 years total. But anybody that always says, "Oh, I've been keeping for 20 years, but I only had one for 19." You know, I don't know. I mean, I've been really the mass amount of them was 4.5 years ago when we found that ahensi at work. I would never got back into it because my Porteri died, and I had never had intentions of getting another one. And then one showed up at work, and I live in Erie, Pennsylvania, So we don't have tarantulas here. It was a hitchhiker in you know a thing of plastic skids that were brought back to us. So they found it, and the one guy that caught it, I went up and looked at it, and I was talking to him. I was like, "Oh yeah, mine just died." And he's like, "Well, do you want to take this one?" So I was like, "Yeah." So I took it, and then within 2 weeks, I had 8 more. So then from there it just went crazy. When I realized I could start ordering them online, it went haywire. I went through it, Ian. To be honest with you, um, I think all of us have a little bit of that. I'll see you later, Nuno. I think a lot of us have some self-conscious issues. Um, whether it's the way we look or our weight or whatever it may be, and you kind of get a little uncomfortable with yourself. Um, but I realized, late last year when I was having a lot of problems. I mean, literally, it was I constantly was not feeling well. I didn't feel myself, and I didn't feel happy, and I was miserable all the time, and I let that spill out in a lot of things that I did. And I started slowing down doing videos, and I look at the spiders some days, and I just didn't even want to feed them. I was so focused in the tarantula community, the new group that we started, trying to get that set, and then some of my friends I just had some troubles with, and it was just hard for me to deal and grasp with some of them. And I had to cut ties with a couple of people just because of that, because the way it made me feel, and probably the way I made them feel. So, um, yeah, I think it's a lot of fun, and it took me a long time to get in front of the camera. It took me till we did the tarantula tag, actually, before I got in front of the camera, and even after that was over, I didn't really want to do it much after that. So this is huge for me to sit here for however long we've been doing this. What, almost an hour and a half? I used to catch everything outside. I mean, we catch the big garden spiders up where I went to school. We'd have science projects we'd have to do, and we had a big, huge field, so we go out there and collect praying mantises and the big garden spiders. I had one right on my chest because I walked right through the web, and the girls were freaked out, and I was just like, "Oh, this is kind of cool." Snakes, turtles, anything I could catch, um, I would try and keep. I probably, I feel bad because I probably killed a lot of little animals. Oh, this one's leaking now. Sorry, another water bottle. Um, I probably killed a lot of animals when I was young that I probably shouldn't have. I remember, someone telling me that you catch a snake and spray paint it, make it whatever color you wanted. And of course, we didn't know any better, so we did it. Of course, the snake couldn't breathe then. And then, putting praying mantises together, we used to do that all the time. Walking sticks with praying mantises. Whatever we could throw in with praying mantises, we did. We had tons of them where I was living. Now they're pretty difficult to find around here. Yeah, my posture is not very good today. I'm kind of leaning on while I'm trying to read too. Trying to keep the thing in my bifocals, because if I tilt my head down and I can't read, I got to keep everything in my bifocals. No, I never really had a problem talking in front of anybody, Mark. I did a small thing at a senior home a year and a half ago with some spiders, and I didn't really have a problem doing that. I mean, I just did my grandmother's eulogy at the funeral. That was tough only because it was emotional, but I didn't really have a problem talking in front of people. I think in some sense, in deep down inside, I want to be that person that's, in front, that's people are looking at. Yeah, I don't really feel that way. Excuse me, like that's what I go out to do, but I really do think deep down inside, I enjoy that. I mean, I enjoy when people listen to me, and I enjoy when people take my advice, and people want to talk to me and send me messages. It makes me feel important, and I think that has a lot to do with when you were a kid and growing up. And no, no, I wouldn't do it now either. I mean, we're kids. and you had to look cool. So yeah, let's throw these two spiders together and see what happens. Really, you were kind of experimenting back then without even realizing you were doing it, just murdering something in the end. I can't believe my wife's not home yet. She comes home, I'll eat, and I got to strip this bed and vacuum my floors. And we have a German Shepherd Husky mix, and German Shepherds will shed pretty good, but throw that Husky in there, and she sheds like all the time. So our floors are constantly covered with dog hair. You could vacuum every day, and you wouldn't even really know it. So since I still have more time, what do you guys think about clickbait? You know, the thumbnails that don't really represent what the video is about, or you know, I mean, I don't know. I put myself in front of the camera for one video, right, or for one clip, or one, what do you call it, thumbnail. I can't remember what that was for, the poem thing that I read from Goldie. But I don't know. I'm just not a fan of. I guess, you know, the channel to me is about my animals, not really myself. So putting myself on a thumbnail, never really been a fan of that. But I do see a lot of clickbait. Yeah, you do get a lot of viewers that way. There's no doubt about it. I mean, and wording things certain ways too, but then you get backlash. You get a lot of backlash. Like I know Andrew got a lot of backlash for his one Cereopagopus species that no one else has on YouTube. You know, and he put, you know, the only one on YouTube, and I don't see a problem with that because he's the only one on YouTube that had one. So why not advertise that? I mean, I'm the only one that's done videos. I mean, I have the Pteranachilus kagoma up there. So if I did a video right now, go search for the Pteranachilus marinus kagoma, nothing comes up. Same with the Mukimis. So if I did a video with those, I could say, hey, I'm the only one on YouTube doing them. What's wrong with that, you know? But I think if you are purposely misleading people to get them to click on your channel, I think that's wrong. Yeah, see, and the thing is that even though, I don't know how many of you guys are looking at your analytics, but a view's a view. If it's 1 minute, it's a view. If the video starts, it's a view, even though it didn't view the whole entire video. Now, you'll have the analytics on how much time average the people watch your videos. You'll have that, but that's not really all that important. What you want really is the views, and it's not even subscribers. Now, the more subscribers you get, of course, the more views you get, but you know, hold on, I'm gonna have to pause. Actually, I'm gonna have to go. So my wife just texted me and said everything's here, so I'm gonna go help her get everything out. So it was a pleasure again with you guys, and we'll do this again soon. Maybe we'll try again this weekend and see how things go. But for now, I got to say later, and have a great day.